Hello wonderful people of the internet, my name is Josh, otherwise known as Override Gaming, and welcome back to another video. If you like this, leave a like, comment and subscribe, you know how it goes. It's been a long time since I've made a wrestling video, so today that's what I'm going to do. And you know what, it's actually quite funny because some big news dropped yesterday as AEW announced that they're making another championship, which I take it is going to be a mid-card belt. It's going to be called the TNT Championship, which is kind of like a television championship of some sort. They're holding an 8-man tournament, and obviously the winner will be the winner will be made at All Out or All In. I can't remember which one it is. It's either All Out or All In. But anyways, as that's happened, the thing is with AEW, I don't pay. I keep tabs up. I keep tabs with AEW. But one of the things with AEW is that they've got, you know, a bunch of stars. You know, you got your upper mid card guys. So you got your upper card guys like Jericho, Moxley, Kenny, Cody. You know, all those guys. But they, you know, the rest of the guys are kind of floating at the moment. You know, my TV's trying to shut off. The rest of the guys are kind of floating at the moment, and then obviously you got their tag division and the women's division. So there's, even though it's a great show and it's something different, there's not a lot, you know, of a pillar. They need another pillar, and hopefully this will establish some of the mid card guys. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Hello. You're right. It's my mum. But yeah, so hopefully this will establish some of the mid-card guys. So I've been seeing a lot of things on Twitter recently, and I thought I'd come and voice my opinion and put my picks to win this championship. These are going to go from who needs it the least to who needs it the most, in my sort of opinion. So hope you enjoy this. If you do disagree or have a different view of things, let me know in the comments below. I do like to hear everybody's opinion. But anyways, we're going to kick it off with just a couple honourable mentions which are seen as quite popular decisions. One of them is Orange Cassidy. Now Orange Cassidy is great, but he doesn't need a title. Okay, he is great in all sorts, you know, on all kind of levels. I think if it's a first, you know, the first guy, I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing, but if it's the first guy who's gonna win, you know, a championship and put your brand on the map, it can be a face, but not really like a comedy wrestler. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but he'll win it at some point, I think. Don't get me wrong, I think there will be a time where he wins it, but I don't see him as a guy who needs the title. You know, he needs the title. It would be fun if he wins, but he doesn't need it, if you know what I'm saying. And the next one after that is Darby Allin. And as much as I like Darby Allin, I think he's a very good wrestler. I think he has one of the best finishes I've seen in a long time, the coffin drop. The guy doesn't need the title yet. I feel like Darby is not a mid-card guy. I don't feel like he's a mid-card guy. Again, I feel like people are saying that they want him to win the title because he's a popular figure. I don't think he needs it. I think he's more of an upper card guy, to be fair, like in the main event scene, to be quite honest. I think he should be one of those guys who's, like, you know, challenging Moxley for the world title. You know, up there with you know, I was about to say Jeremy. Up there with Jericho, you know, like I said, Kenny, you know, all those guys, you know, the elite guys, Hangman Adam Page, those guys. I think he's up there with them, not just in terms of wrestling ability, but in terms of character and persona and charisma. Like, the guy's a world champion. So I think that's where he needs to be putting. Sorry, that's where I think he needs to be heading. That's where I put him. But anyways, we're going to kick off this list, and I'm going to start with quite a weird one. And these are two. These are two which are kind of like go intertwined with each other, and that's, even though, you know, the win-loss record suggests otherwise, Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon. Now I know some of you guys will be like, what? Okay, Brandon, yes, is kind of, I like him, he's a nice guy, but there's not much, you know, there's not much in my opinion, there's not much to him apart from the fact that he plays Dungeons and Dragons. Like that's it. Okay, but I feel like, you know, give him the title. Let's see what, you know, let's see where he goes with it. Yeah, I mean, it will make it, you know, the cards like that, you know, if they treat it like, you know, WWE used to treat the Intercontinental Championship, he'll be a star, no time. And again, it would be nice to have, you know, him being the elite and having a championship, and also somebody like Peter Avalon. He's this kind of annoying heel. Like, you know, give him a run with, you know, again, give him a run with that title. Let's see, you know, let's see what he can make out of it. You know, these aren't like WWE. Sorry, it's not like WWE. These guys aren't really scripted. So you know what I mean? It's one of those. Excuse me. So my next pick, I forgot who my next pick was. My next pick is the Exalted One, Brody Lee. Now, again, this is a similar point which I was making to Darby Allin, but just a bit of a twist on it. It would be good for, you know, a new character, a fresh face, to establish dominance, you know, on the rest of the roster by, you know, winning a championship so soon. And Brody's that kind of guy. I think as Luke Harper, you know, as I'm pretty sure most of you will agree, WWE really dropped the ball with him. They really dropped the ball with Luke Harper. You know, they just didn't, you know, they didn't get him. So, you know, having Brody, you know, come in, the Exalted One, we take what we want, when we want, how we want, bang, TNT Championship, yeah, that's mine, cool. You know, the problem is, I'm pretty sure, right, you know, it's gonna be a mid-card title, which means it's not like, how do I put it? It's not like the Undisputed Era where they had kind of 3 mid-card guys, one that could be pushed to the moon if done right. So capturing the mid-card title made sense. I feel like Brody's a bit different. I feel like if you give him the mid-card title, it would make the group sound less than they already are. Instead of causing trouble around the midfield, the mid-card, I think there needs to be a group which is challenging, you know, the Inner Circle and the Elite. You know, again, it's sort of like a Darby Allin situation. I don't think they need to be in, you know, swamped in the mid-card, because the problem is where if you have too many guys in the mid-card, it feels, you know, very oversaturated and, you know, meh. So again, I'd push him up to the upper card, have you know, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, you know, challenge for the tag titles, of course. But you know, I don't feel like they you know, Brody needs that at the moment. I feel like they need to concentrate and making the Dark Order seem like a threat. And what, you know, better way to do it than, you know, punch the biggest guy in the room. You know what I mean? So you know, that's what I think with them. My next pick is Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears is, see when he left WWE, I thought, hey, you know what, this dude, he's got Tully Blanchard with him, like my man's gonna be hitting it up here. But since he's come, like he has been, you know what I mean, he's kind of been here, you know what I mean, if to a certain extent down here, you know what I mean, which is a bit of a shame. But I feel like, you know, if you want to put something back into it, back into him, again, excuse me, if you want to put something back into him, I feel like this is the way to do it. Have him come out victorious, you know, have him beat some incredible opposition. I know he's doing that tag thing, you know, who will be, you know, his tag team partner, but I feel like, you know, Shawn having, you know, that title and having Tully's spokesperson, you know, who's the chairman, you know, I feel like that would, you know, bring him back up to where we thought he was going to hit, put it that way. My next pick after that is Joey Janela. I feel like Joey is a very, very, very entertaining guy, and again, I feel like he'll do some crazy stuff with the belt. So yeah, Joey's another pick. After that, I'd say somebody like Jimmy Havoc as well. Another guy who I feel like if given a chance, he would do crazy stuff with the belt. I feel like he'd be a very interesting character, because I feel like if you do him right, I feel like, you know, he'd be one of those guys who would do everything and anything to keep it. We've already seen him do everything and anything to win a match, so much so that they had to ban the staple gun. So you know what I mean? It's one of those where it's like, you know, if you gave him that title, like, the guy would defend it with his life. And again, if you want to try and bring, you know, prestige to a title and make the title mean something, that is a way of doing it. Now, if we're using this, you know, title to build stars, you know, and build eventual world champions, I've got to go with MJF next, honestly. I feel like MJF is at a bit of a weird point, where he's, again, one of the most entertaining guys on the roster. He's up there, like, challenging for world title status, definitely. But he's just not, I don't know what it is, it's like he's not quite there yet. And he already won the Diamond Ring thing, which I thought was cool, but again, like, I didn't really see anything done with it afterwards. Which again, but honestly, I put him in the conversation of winning the TNT Championship. You know, if it's this sort of television title, like, the dude, I know he, you know, when it comes to promos and in ring work, you know, trying to, you know, make the fans hate him as a proper heel, like, MJF would absolutely kill it. My only request is that he faces Cody Rhodes in the final. If we're doing this this tournament, he has to face Cody Rhodes, and he has to do something extremely dirty to get him, you know, to get the rub on Cody, get the one up on Cody, pin him for the 1, 2, 3, and then the whole place would absolutely hate him for it, and then he'd rub it in for weeks how he beat Cody, and like, the MJF needs a title run, and if we're gonna do it, I'd start with that title. Also, just a little honourable mention, obviously Cody Rhodes, he can't compete for the World Championship anymore, what a shame. However, I'd like to see him do that. I'd really like to see him do that. So, have that sort of a mid-card title, putting guys over, you know, that sort of thing. Again, that's what we need. That's what Cena did with the US title, which again is very effective in creating a, you know, a very entertaining product and a very good one at that. My other pick, we're going to the top 2 picks for myself, and the next one I'm going to go with is a certain Sonny Kiss. Now, this dude, first of all, best ass in wrestling, okay, and I don't care what anyone says, alright, okay, that's first of all. Secondly, right, this dude, right, I had no, like he was one of these guys which I didn't see coming, and not only is he very entertaining, and, you know, a very charming dude, but also, like, I'd like to see what he, you know, what we do when we put a piece of gold in his hands. You know, again, he's one of those guys where I want to see what happens. You know, I haven't seen him have a run with a title, but I feel like he'd be a guy which puts it on the map. You know what I mean? And that's something we need. You know, we need, you know, standout people, you know, to put the groundwork on this. You know what I mean? Look what Jericho did with the AEW World Championship. The minute he got that, he made it look like the most important thing in the world. And that's a similar thing that Moxley's doing, but just in a different way. So, you know, I feel like if we need guys, you know, to sort of put a stamp on things and, you know, broadcast it, I feel like Sonny's the kind of guy to broadcast the title. Not necessarily make you care about it, but make people, you know, aware of it and people will come in, you know, people will be attracted because, you know, there's this guy, you know, who's, you know, very eccentric, but also has a shiny piece of gold with him. So it's like, I feel like he's a draw, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm basically trying to say. I feel like he's a massive draw. So Sonny, and I think he's entertaining as well. So I think Sonny is an absolute pick to win this championship. But my number one pick, and I've said it on Twitter, if it doesn't happen, I'll be a bit disappointed, but I could see why they'll choose other people, because again, there's a lot of people who can take this title, to be quite honest. But my first pick and my main pick to win that championship is Pac. Now, if you don't know who Pac is he was formerly Adrian Neville, or Neville, and if you ever want to see a prime example of putting a title on the map and making people care about that title, there is no man who can do it, right? Well, there are people who can maybe do it better, but not as well as him. That really doesn't make sense. But put it this way, if you want to put that title on the map, you give that title to Pac, okay? All I'm gonna say, if you don't believe me, watch early 205 live, right? He was the only reason, I'm not even joking, right? I love the cruiserweights, but they messed that up, right? He was the only reason I tuned in to watch 205 live. This dude was like the Thanos of the cruiserweight division. Anytime one of your faces, right, one of your boys, right, got the upper hand, it was like, yeah, firework go, poof, out comes Neville. Bro, the dude was just nuts. And not only that, but it was like, this whole, the whole king of the cruiserweights thing. Like, the guy, like, ruled the division with the Iron Fist. So if you want, and not only that, but this guy's got the addition of the Death Triangle. Okay, Ray and Pentagon Jr. Like, bro, trust me. I know it kind of contradicts my point I made with Brody Lee, as in certain like factions, trying to cause himself as a threat. But obviously, say like you got the three main factions or three main big threats. You got the Elite, Dark Order, and Inner Circle up in the upper card. But in the mid card, like, dude, you could have like, you got Death Triangle, Best Friends, the Blade and the Butcher. You got those kind of guys. And I really think, if you want to not only put a stamp on making this championship feel important, but also making your character seem like a threat to anybody that comes in your way, the Death Triangle, like, give I was about to call him Neville, but give Pac the title. Okay, he needs that title. I think he needs it more than anybody else in AEW right now, and I feel like it's just a championship which is a perfect fit for him. And then later on, he can go and win the World Championship. Whether they'll let him do that, I don't know. I don't know if they'll think he's World Championship ready. But honestly, if you want to have a guy lead a solid mid card, that's the guy you pick. And I'm telling you now, I'm not saying it just because he's British, alright? But honestly, that's the guy you pick. I'm dead ass, 100%. If you want to put this championship on the map, give it to Pac. And if you don't believe me, watch his Cruiserweight title run. It is one of the best things in WWE from the last decade. And the way WWE repaid him for that was deleting the WrestleMania match he had with Austin Aries off the DVD. Legit, give the title to Pac. Give the title to Pac. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. I know it's a bit of an in-depth thing, but honestly, I'm really excited for this, and it's making me watch. I can't believe I'm saying this, but right now AEW is making me watch, watch that more than NXT, and I'm an NXT guy. Okay, I am an NXT. I've watched that since episode 1. Okay, you know what I mean? I've watched it since episode 1. So at the end of the day, like, AEW is doing bits right now. I'm super happy for them. I support wrestling. I don't do any of that. Oh, you guys suck because you support AEW, and you guys suck because you support WWE, and you guys suck because you support New Japan. Like, cut it out, lads. Cut it out. But honestly, I'm happy. This is a glorious day for wrestling, and I can't wait to see what they do with that title and how they're gonna keep me invested. So, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.